Today's lesson is on 4.1, triangles and angles, and most of this information will be a review. Some of it will be new. There's two different ways to classify triangles. We can classify the triangles by their sides, and the three different types of triangles we have according to side lengths are equilateral, when all three sides are congruent, isosceles, when two sides are congruent, but notice it says at least two sides are congruent. So if we have three, we do have an isosceles triangle. And a scalene triangle where no sides are congruent. So we can classify them by their sides. We can also classify triangles by their angle measurements. We have four different types of triangles according to their angles. The first is acute, where all three angles are less than 90 degrees. Equiangular is where all three angles are congruent to each other, so all three angles are 60 degrees. A right triangle that has exactly one right angle, and obtuse that has exactly one obtuse angle. So that should be a review. Then the corners of a triangle, those corners are called vertices. Two sides that share a common vertex are called adjacent sides. So side AB in this particular triangle right here and AC are adjacent sides because they share the common vertex of A. So vertex C has adjacent sides of AC and BC. AB is the side opposite of angle C because it doesn't actually touch that vertex. So we call it the side opposite. All right, when we have right triangles and isosceles triangles, they have parts, and we want to make sure we label those parts. So in a right triangle, which is this one here on the left, the two sides that make the right angle are called the legs. The third side opposite of the right angle is the hypotenuse. Again, that's a review, I'm sure. For an isosceles triangle, the two legs that are the same size, or the two sides that are the same size, we call those legs, and we call the third side the base. So we can have a triangle that sits on its side like this, and the base is actually vertical, and that's totally fine. So the base doesn't always have to be the side that it's sitting on, if that makes sense. All right, and then we also have interior and exterior angles. So if we extend the sides of a triangle beyond the vertices, we have some angles that are made here. And so the interior angles are the ones that are on the inside of the triangle, so they're bound by the sides of the triangle. The exterior angles are the ones that are on the outside of that triangle. And so you notice that this angle here is not labeled, the one that's vertical of the interior angle, because that's made from two exterior angles. So the exterior angles have to include the sides of the triangle. So one side of the triangle and then one side that is extended. This particular angle that's not identified right here is the angle that's made from both sides extending beyond the triangle. So those are the exterior angles and the interior angles. We do have a couple of theorems. The first one is the triangle sum theorem. Again, this is something that's familiar to you. The triangle sum theorem says that the sum of the measures of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So if we add all the angles of a triangle together, we get 180 degrees. The exterior angle theorem is a little bit different. Maybe you're not real familiar with that one. The exterior angle theorem says the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So this exterior angle right here, so there's the exterior angle that we talked about in the beginning of the theorem. The measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So angle A and angle B here equal angle 1 that's on the exterior. So if we look at this example here, the angle that's on the outside, which is 107 degrees, equals 35 plus 72, or it should. So 35 plus 72 is 107, so in fact it does. And I can prove that because 107 and 73 have to be supplementary to each other because they make a straight line. And the three angles of the triangle have to be supplementary because of the triangle sum theorem. So that works out. There is a corollary to the triangle sum theorem, and that is the acute angles of a right triangle are complementary. So if we have a right triangle, obviously one of the angles is 90 degrees. So the other two angles have to be complementary to each other because the whole thing has to add up to 180 degrees. So make sure those notes are complete for tomorrow. Be prepared to discuss them further, and have a good night.